Thank you very much for inviting me. And thank you to all at PSC for the work you do and the work you've done over many, many years. It's amazing the way you've kept the issue of Palestine alive and in front of public attention during all this period. And also want to say thank you to the 1,000 people that have come on the call this evening. And the one advantage of COVID, there's many, many, many disadvantages, but the one advantage is that we've learned to use social media and this form of communication as a way of educating each other and talking to each other. And we're getting far more people involved in these kind of events than we ever would at a normal meeting in a rally hall during an evening, a weekday evening in London. So thank you to PSC for that. And can I just say that I hope that post-COVID, we don't lose this ability to communicate by a combination of methods. That is the direct system at meetings, but also by Zoom and Facebook and so on. That is very important. I've been to Gaza on a number of occasions. The first time I went was 1998, I think, and I've been many times since then. And the thing that hits you every time you go to Gaza is the poverty in front of you, the poor condition of the roads, the numbers of people hanging around with nothing to do, the very high levels of unemployment, and the very high level of education amongst the people of Gaza. The highest number of graduates anywhere in the world in Gaza, and almost the highest level of unemployment at the same time. And that sense of isolation that the people of Gaza have to go through, watching the world vicariously through a computer screen, unable for the most part to travel anywhere. That isolation is devastating on the psyche and the mind. Likewise, to try and run an economy, to run an economy when you're under siege is extremely difficult. And if you produce fresh crops, such as strawberries, such as fruit or anything else, clearly they have to be in a marketplace within a couple of days. Otherwise, they simply don't work. The crop is completely lost. And so the complete reliance on Israel, allowing people in or out of Gaza, allowing goods in or out of Gaza, allowing power to flow into Gaza, or indeed the ability of the fishermen of Gaza to go out to sea and fish there, completely dependent on the occupying power and the controlling power. And I've discussed there the water shortage, the sewage problem, and all the other things in Gaza. And I take my hat off to those technicians that managed to keep some services running, such as water and electricity. But clearly they rely on fuel and they rely on supplies. And now we have the problem of the coronavirus crisis. Coronavirus is a devastating virus anywhere to anybody who gets it or anybody who's susceptible to it. It's bad enough in a country that does have a health service, that does have the ability to support people, that does have the ability to treat them. But in Gaza, densely populated, one of the most densely populated places in the world, limited medical supplies, despite the best efforts of many good charities like Medical Aid for Palestine and others to support them, it is a huge danger and quite devastating. And so there has to be a strong plea now to the whole world that not only must the bombardment of Gaza end, and every day one reads of F-16 jets bombing places in Gaza. We understand there is a temporary cessation of this. I hope that cessation is more than temporary. It becomes absolutely permanent. And that we recognize that the situation in Gaza cannot go on. The proposal of the annexation of the West Bank has been strongly opposed, obviously by Palestinian people, but also opposed by very large numbers of good people in Israel who do not want to see a further expansion and do not want to see the Trump plan for the occupation of the West Bank, to the annexation of the West Bank to go ahead. But in opposing that, as many people do in Europe, in the USA, around the world, and in Israel itself, that's not enough. a long-term peace means there has to be an end to the siege of Gaza, the right of the people of Gaza to their own identity, the ability to travel, and to have a fully functioning economy. And so the message we're giving out tonight is no to the annexation of the West Bank, but also no to the continued siege of Gaza and the continued growth of settlements all across the West Bank. I just remember on the occasions I've been there talking to older people who very distantly remember what Gaza was once like. Older people who've come from places that they once called home and ended up in a refugee camp in Gaza. And young people in the universities and the schools and the colleges talking about what life could be like and how they would like to live those lives. Thank you to UNRWA and the UN for the support they give. But the people of Gaza are very able, very competent, quite brilliant, and very well educated. They just need the space and the opportunity to develop themselves, their lives, and their economy. That can only be done by ending the siege of Gaza. It can only be done by a long-term and urgent peace process that brings about hope to the people of Gaza. My solidarity with PSC tonight. Thank you for what you've done, and thank you again to the 1,000 and more people that have come on this call. But above all, do something now. Take the actions that are being suggested. Take part in the campaigns, because you know what? Campaigns matter, and campaigns change minds. Thank you.